It was an ordinary night like any other. The streets filled with those sinister figures who enjoy the mantle of the night, filled with a roar of uncertainty and holding your breath, filled with a city that never sleeps. Only with the morning would a short silence follow, a silence in which we count the hearts that are still beating and sweep aside the dirt of the night. It was a night like all those I spent lonely until she showed up. She was the danger, a woman with the promise of something new, her eyes glinting under a curly head of hair even more than the cigarette on her lips. Skin like gold and legs, her legs never wanted to end. Maria and Joseph, legs like these made my heart shake. Her legs didn't stop, flowing over the ground, on and on, never-ending stream of grotesque knees and too long limbs, splitting into new legs and even more legs, and the gods must have cursed me, filled the office with her legs till they spilled out of the window into the streets, where they roamed the street in hundreds of graceful shoes. A voice like honey and fire spoke to me. I couldn't take my eyes off of this beauty. Detective, I have a job for you. Hello and welcome! Your job is to draw furries. So far you have coped quite well with portraits, but the challenge is growing because furry anatomy is in a class of its own. You start by familiarizing yourself with human anatomy, the most successful bipedals to date, at least as far as population and cultivation of coffee plants are concerned. Years of experience have shown you people have two legs that behave symmetrically around the center line. We divide these into thigh, knee, lower leg, and foot. In this form, they're still quite simple. With the invention of the upright gait, the structure of the pelvis has changed, and you make a note in your book to that effect. This also had an effect on the spine, and slowly your head is roaming with so much theory, so you recall the images of perfection in furry form. And then you do some yoga for balance, but also as part of your research. Stand on your tippy toes. Furries are mostly a mix of cats, dogs, and foxes. Here's the anatomy of a person simplified into 4 areas: thigh, knee, lower leg, and foot. Here's a dog's anatomy with the same color coding. You make a note of feet are different, the heel is higher up and doesn't lie on the floor. And it's a bit like a person walking on the toes. You try to stand on your toes. If you bend your knees a little now, you have a very good idea how to translate this pose into furry legs. And unfortunately, you are a bit wobbly on your legs, so you buckle. A good reminder that furry legs look pretty and functional, but aren't. After all, humans are what comes out of evolution if you want to walk upright. You do some anatomy exercises, draw from live drawing videos or websites. This is a good one. First, with people to get a feel for legs and human bipeds, and the resulting pictures are actually quite well suited to roughly paint over and turn them into furry legs. You try around a bit. Furry legs, which are similar to human anatomy, are called plantigrade. The furry legs where the heel does not touch the ground are called digigrade. Some artists put the toes of a wolf or other animal on the feet of humans and thus create particular created furry feet. Here's my favorite furry artist who is a great advocate for this style, Jonathan. The advantage of plantigrade furry legs is that you can use human templates without any problems. The feet are furry. You draw the sole, the toes, the heels. Does your furry species have beans? Well, let's think about how beans work. They have cats, of course, as well as dogs, foxes, and wolves. They're missing from rabbits, all ungulates. That's probably because they don't try to sneak up on prey with their sneak paws. But if your furry rabbits are hunters, or you just like the subtle creepy horror design, then yes, give your furry toe beans, regardless of which species they belong to. Those who watch furry tutorials learn in 3 steps. First, look at human anatomy. Second, look at animal anatomy. And thirdly, make a mix that is personally appealing to you. Furry are a bit like speculative fiction. Not very scientific speculation, but very good. You remember some fake documentaries about dragons and mermaids, and maybe zoology, the science of mythical beings. You fall into a deep hole of YouTube research, where you watch digigrade walk cycles for animations. What does it mean? Actors who can handle props incredibly well and who form the basis for so many creative people. Wow, look at how he shifts his grade here. what were we going to do today?